Welcome to the Erotic Realm podcast, where we explore the psychology of darker desires. I'm Em, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm a psychosexuality nerd with a background in psychology, sociology, medical science, and Tantra. I'm also in a 24/7 college relationship, and I created this podcast with the mission of humanizing kinksters. Join me here for one-on-one, in-depth conversations as we explore the fascinating world of eroticism, one erotic realm at a time. If you love what we're doing here in the erotic realm, I'd like to ask you a quick favor. Can you follow and rate the show wherever you listen? It helps the show reach more people like you. And if you haven't yet, I'd love if you could subscribe to my Substack, Psychology of Desire. This is where I go even deeper into the science and symbolism of desire, archetypes, and erotic evolution. You'll get access to articles, unique surveys and research, and behind-the-scenes access to everything I'm building. Simply visit psychologyofdesire.substack.com. I'll see you there. And now, for today's episode. The following episode marks the beginning of Season 2 of the Erotic Realm. Welcome. And as we step into the new year, I wanted to begin this season differently. Not with theory, not with expertise, not with going deep into one person's erotic realm, but with intention. Because we make goals for almost every other part of our lives, our careers, our bodies, our finances, our relationships. But when it comes to our desire, especially erotic desire, we often leave it to chance. We wait for it to return. We hope it doesn't disappear. We assume it should just happen. So to open this season, I invited kinksters and erotic explorers to come onto the show and share something rarely spoken about: their New Year erotic and kink intentions, what they want to explore, what they want to deepen, and what they want to reclaim, confront, or finally give themselves permission to want. And this isn't a one-off. These guests will return at the end of the year so we can reflect on what shifted, what surprised them, and what actually happens when we treat desire as something we can listen to, tend to, and consciously engage with. Because desire isn't just impulse, it's not chaos, and it's not frivolous. Desire responds to attention, and attention, when given with curiosity rather than judgment, changes everything. And your desire deserves attention. Before we begin today's episode, I want to share something I've been quietly building in the background, something many of you have asked me for over the past year. I've just released the Desire Diary. Now, this isn't a planner. It's not a productivity journal, and it's not about forcing desire to behave. The Desire Diary is a working psychological tool designed to help you notice how your desire actually operates in your body, your fantasies, your relationships, and your inner world. Because one of the things that I've learned through my countless hours of studying desire and the hundreds of conversations that I've had is that most of us were never taught how to explore our desire. Only how to judge it, suppress it, or panic when it changes. This desire was created to slow that down. Inside, you'll find space for reflection, pattern spotting, and gentle inquiry, not prompts telling you what you should want, but questions that help you listen more closely to what's already there. It's a soft cover or hardcover, small run edition designed to be written in, lived with, and returned to. And it's available now via the link in the show notes. So if you're someone who listens to this podcast and thinks, yes, but what does this look like in my own desire? This diary is for you. And now, let's step into today's episode. Welcome back to Season 2 of the Erotic Realm. Enjoy. Welcome to the Erotic Realm Kink and Erotic Intentions New Year special. I have a new kinkster here ready to set their New Year intentions with us. Can you please begin by telling us your name and age?
Hi. Yeah, my name is Elle and I'm 38.
Cool. And now we'd love to know a little bit about your gender and your sexuality and how you identify in terms of kink.
Okay. I am female and I'm a big fan of the Kinctionary.
Mm-hmm.
And so looking through that, uh, as opposed to saying, straight or even heteroflexible, I right now have landed on noetic romantic demisexual.
Okay.
Um,
Can you explain a
yeah.
little bit more about that? I don't think we've had someone identify as that yet on the podcast.
Yeah, so noetic romantic a lot I've seen a lot of people put sapiosexual,
Mm-hmm.
which is when you're attracted to intelligence. And for me it's less intelligence. I've met a lot of really smart people who I don't have lot of interest in, and it's more about like connecting mentally,
Mm-hmm.
sharing a similar mindset or worldview, and typically that develops for me romantically and then leads to an emotional connection that leads to a more sexual connection.
Okay, cool. And what about your kinky self? How would you describe that?
So I am I'm submissive, and bit of a brat,
Mm-hmm.
bit of a princess. So currently a bratty princess. I'm new to a lot of this. I started exploring more in May and had known certain things about kink through writing and research for books, but really exploring started then. So I do I do feel that I have a primal side as well, and then I have on there, I think, flirt as or yeah, flirt is one too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm still kind of figuring that out, but I do know submissive over dominant or switch.
Cool. That's awesome. So you're within your first year of exploration still at the moment. That's really exciting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a
Okay.
lot of goals for 2026.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. What are you wanting to explore next year and why?
So I want to I want to explore, probably, I wouldn't say everything, but there is a lot. I'm a researcher by nature when I'm in a new environment. So like I have a spreadsheet that has very long list of items on it. And whether I'm interested in trying them or oh, don't want know that I don't want to try them at all. So there's quite a bit on there. Splits it up into different sections. One of the ones that I'd say most interested in, or some of the areas, would be um, you know impact, bondage. Role plays actually become much more of an interest recently, and like the service, uh more controlled behaviors within a dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love that you've got a spreadsheet. That's so nerdy. Absolutely love that.
Intense. It is an intense spreadsheet too. I want to make it perfect and then probably share it because I mean it's really
Cool.
helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to see it. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so it sounds like you've got a lot to explore next year. What part or parts of yourself do you want to meet through this exploration?
So I I growing up, there was a lot of, I would say, it was a very hushed topic that really wasn't discussed a lot in my household growing up. Um, Exploring, you know, especially as a female, my desires and like having those be me being kind of free to figure out what that looks like,
Mm.
um is wasn't really the way that went. um and and so free, I mean, the free side of myself, we go based on my profile name, the unleashed side of myself, that's really not worried about what anybody else thinks about it, and does it and explores it because it's what I want to do, not what someone else wants to do or thinks I should do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it sounds like almost a reclamation in your exploration of these desires that you weren't allowed to explore throughout your life. So that's really exciting as well.
Yeah.
So, what challenges or fears do you feel might come up for you while you're exploring these things next year? What might get in the way?
So I talk pretty freely about this on my in writings, but I was in an abusive relationship about over 10 years ago, about 10 to 12 years ago, and did a lot of therapy, post that, and have been able to uh, have sex again without the triggers that came after that.
Mm,
But it does still I do still have moments, especially with new people and new partners, where you're still building trust and things like that, even before anything sexual happens, those things come up. So it in a lot of the discussions about what I want to try, and or what we want to try, that's the biggest fear or concern, is being triggered kind of suddenly, and
mm,
so how to handle that. I have a lot of tools for how to
good.
handle that, but having a partner who kind of understands that, knows what it looks like, and um definitely has seen it before that situation, all really help.
Mm,
And then um but you just never know. And it's
mm-hmm,
been a bit of time because it's really important for me to, one, like have that mental connection, first, and then build all of it, build that trust and feel safe to explore this stuff. So that hasn't, I haven't had a chance to try that yet.
mm,
Um, and so it'll just be, I think it'll be fine. I
mm-hmm.
think it'll be fine because of the way I'm approaching it. But yeah, it's always there kind of in the back of my mind that I could get triggered, and it's just never fun.
No, and I'm really glad that you have a supportive partner who seems to understand and do all the things that you need. So that's really great. Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what might get in the way. Let's say that doesn't happen. You're able to navigate that successfully. We're talking again at the end of next year. What would fulfillment of your goals look like for you? How will you know that you've met these goals that you're setting when you're talking to me?
Well, so a lot of the things, some or not, I mean, some of the things that I want to try are um are potentially going to trigger some of those
Mm,
fears.
mm,
And I've had good discussions about that in terms of how that can actually be really healthy, like helpful, and done in like a healthy way, given the amount of time and like it's like, instead of it being a sudden trigger, you're almost triggering it I don't want to say you're triggering it intentionally, but it's kind of creating the same situation. And then you know that that fear is going to come up, but you know that you're safe exploring it. Oh, geez. Um, and and so for me, it will look, success in a lot of this will just look like trying, even if I don't check off a lot of boxes, and it is that I've learned a lot about how to find a partner that, I can build in that direction with. I think that's still successful. Ideally, it won't take a year because that's a long time. But if it did, even if it did, I think that would be just not being scared to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, overcoming that fear. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Okay, so if you could name your 2026 erotic theme in one word, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's where I was going to use that answer. The unleashed answer.
That's fine.
Yeah, it would probably be that. I was undecided for a very long time of what I wanted my official like username even to be, but
Mm.
that was the word that felt uh most appropriate for just, not being directed by anything but me.
Mm. That's really
Obviously with
powerful.
consent and, taking my partner's like, needs and stuff into, but when it came to saying what I wanted and, voicing those things or what I didn't want to do, even, to have that come solely, from me first.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I love that. Really powerful. Thank you so much. And thank you
Yeah.
for being part of the very first edition of the Erotic Realm Kink and Erotic Intentions New Year special. And I look forward to having you back on the podcast at the end of next year to see what happened for you throughout the year and how you went with this reclamation. It's really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was great talking with you. I appreciate it.
You too. Thank you. I have a new kinkster here who is ready to set their New Year intentions with us. Can you please begin by telling us your name and age?
Hello, I'm Slutty Puppy and I'm 32.
Cool. Okay. And now a little bit about your gender and sexuality and kink.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I am she, her, but also kind of shrug is kind of my go-to at the moment, she, her, shrug. Um, yeah, and so I'm very in the very beginning parts of my kink journey, but have been exploring quite quickly.
Okay, cool. So, what labels best explain your kink at the moment? Is it just exploratory is the best label for it, or are there other ones that you're kind of exploring?
I guess exploratory is probably the best label at the moment, but it's a rapidly evolving label.
Cool. So, how new are you to kink?
Well, I guess, officially started like this journey in September, so like relatively new, but it's been
Oh,
something that's kind of like, yeah, been I don't know, like there in the back of my mind for a long time. So I was a bit of a kink denialist for many years.
okay, interesting. Cool. He's so new. I'm so excited to see what happens for you with these intentions we're about to set. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
thanks.
let's jump into it. What are you wanting to explore in your erotic or kink life next year in 2026 and why?
Yeah, so I'm very much in my like I want to try everything and I want to try everything right now kind of era.
Mm-hmm.
So seeds are being planted in my head very quickly. And I feel like it's, I'm at that exciting part of this like journey where yeah, there's just like so many possibilities and yeah, I want to eat them all. At the moment I am accidentally, but on purpose, organizing some like uh, group stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally organized something for last Sunday, which I had to kind of backpedal out of because I was like, oh, I didn't actually mean this Sunday. So, it's been like a funny sort of like forward and backwards little journey.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about the thing that you're planning, or would you prefer to keep it a bit more private?
Oh, I'm like not even sure yet.
Okay.
So yeah, like uh yeah, so just, like some group scene stuff. So either FFM, MMF,
Mm-hmm.
or just plus 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 plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So, do
Yes.
you have any priorities in terms of what you're prioritizing for next year, or is it just anything and everything, you're open to it, and the goal is exploring in general?
I think the goal is exploring in
Mm-hmm.
general. It's been interesting because, like, very quickly in this journey too, I figured out that I was demisexual as well. So that's kind of added a fun little extra layer of having to kind of like mentally organize my poor little brain as well.
Mm-hmm. Can you share with us what demisexual means to you?
Yeah, so basically, I'm not necessarily like attracted to bodies. I'm sort of more so into sort of like having connections with people first.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got this year planned out next year where you're wanting to explore all sorts of things, and exploration is the main goal.
Yeah.
What part or parts of yourself do you want to meet through this exploration?
Ooh. Um, yeah, that's a really good question. So what parts to me of myself?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I think so. I very quickly like created a little framework in my head. So the other element is that I'm sort of like looking to explore is sort of like getting further and like deeper into subspace too. So I'm a maker, like I make art and various other things. And I've sort of realized that subspace is really like akin to creative flow,
Mm.
at least for me. And yeah, so like before I kind of knew anything about, this world, I kind of realized I'd created a little framework for myself. So I would talk about, my logic brain, which I refer to as bean, and the rest of my kind of like, I don't know, hedonistic or I don't know, other parts of my brain as egg. So basically, what I want for next year is to let Bean have a break and
Mm-hmm.
just turn off and allow for egg to take over and just, you know, be egg.
Cool. Also, I love the names, and I love that you already had names for those parts of yourself. Very creative. Okay, so what what challenges or fears do you feel might happen for you in this exploration? What might come up for you that might get in the way?
Yeah, so Bean's likely to get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I am like a bit of a chronic overthinker. And I think, yeah, sort of allowing myself to just dive in and not overthink would be sort of nice. I think that that is a challenge that I will sort of continue to face as well. Yeah, and I guess there's some sort of like harder kinks that I would like to explore too, which I know may sort of like act as like a little bit of a trauma trigger as well. So
Mm.
I guess sort of like managing those and my expectations is probably important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's say that we're talking again at the end of the next year, and you have fulfilled
Yeah.
your goals and you've had a lot of exploration. How will you know that you've met your goals? What will you be able to say to me?
Ooh, that's a great question. Because part of me imagines that I'll still be like, hey, yeah, I'm still exploring all of the things.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, I think I'd like to go to more events, and I would like to sort of like put myself out there with some more like public play too, which I think that's something that I am quite heady about and really kind of like ah. So I think if I can cross that barrier, I reckon then it's likely that I've like hit some of my goals for 2026.
Okay, cool. Sounds like a lot of events in your future. Right. So, if you could name your 2026 erotic theme in just one word, what would that word be and why?
I love that. Oof. I want to look. I just want to say eggy.
Hmm. Well, it makes sense with the context now. Yep. I love it. So creative. Well, thank you so much for being part of the very first edition of the Erotic Realm, Kink and Erotic Intentions New Year special. And I really look forward to having you back on the podcast at the end of next year to see what's happened throughout the year for you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you again. I have another Kinkster here ready to set their New Year intentions with us. Can you please begin by telling us your name and age?
My name's Bree. I'm 48 years old.
Okay, cool. And just so everyone knows, Bree's a little bit unwell, but she still showed up to set her intentions today. So thank you for that.
Mhm.
Okay, so just so people have an idea about your erotic realm, can you tell us a bit about your gender, sexuality, and kinky self?
Yes, I am a cis female, um, heteroflexible, I think is what I'd be going with today. And I have been part of the kink community now for only about 2 years.
Okay, cool. And what labels best describe your kinky self?
I don't know what label options are there.
Okay. Are you on FetLife at all?
I am on Fet, yes.
Okay. Do you have a description there for your kinky self, or are you more exploring,
I'm
evolving?
exploring. I have Good Girl is on there right now.
Okay.
Is my like key or my,
Hmm.
label, I guess. But I'm definitely exploring because this is all a new realm for me.
Hmm.
I'm kind of open to trying a bunch of different things, and that's been part of my journey for the last couple of years is just exploring some fantasies and interests that I've had over the years that I've denied myself the pleasure of.
Yes, we love exploration and reclamation here. It seems to be a common theme coming through in these intentions. So that's really cool.
Yeah, awesome.
So let's move on to your intentions for 2026. What are you longing to explore in your erotic or kink life next year?
I am hoping to explore a lot more group um, uh, experiences. I've had several and they've been really great. I would love to explore more with other women. I've only been able to do that one time, and that was amazing. Um, just wanting to do more, I guess, voyeuristic stuff out in public with partners. And I have a decent amount of like supports that are interested in helping me explore those things safely. So it feels really good. But I also am wanting to figure out ways that I can explore without the need of other people to be there as well.
I love it. So specific and so many fun things to explore.
Hmm. I hope so.
Yeah. So, with these explorations, what part or parts of yourself do you want to meet through exploring these desires?
I think what I have been getting more in touch with, and what I want to continue to build uh, is like allowing the slutty part of me to come through in life, and be able to embrace that word as something really positive instead of the negative connotation that has been attached to it for me for decades. So I'm definitely wanting to lean into being more of a slut and enjoying pleasure for pleasure's sake.
I love that. Accessing the sacred slut archetype.
Yes, absolutely. Mhm.
Love it. Okay, so in thinking about pursuing these goals, what
Mhm.
challenges or fears do you think might come up for you next year while you're exploring this?
I think probably the biggest is just being able to do it safely. And with that, I don't just mean like, you know, to be safe from transmitted illnesses and that. I mean also being able to be more out in public when I work in a community that I might run into people I see at work. Um, that is a little nerve-wracking for me. So I've enjoyed FET because I'm able to sort of meet people a little bit before I meet them in person. But some of the things that I want to explore don't give me that access to people ahead of time. So that's, I think, a barrier, and just making sure that my um, professional self is separate from my slutty play self.
Yeah, the thing that I always think about if that comes into my mind is if they're at the same event as me, then, they're probably in the same position and they're
Yeah,
obviously kinky
that's
as
true.
well. So,
That's very true. Yeah.
but yeah, I understand the concern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so say we're talking again at the end of next year and I'm
Mhm.
asking you how you've gone with these goals. How will you know that you've fulfilled these intentions?
Well, I think the embracing the sluttiness part is probably more vague than the crossing specific events and experiences off my checklist. That would be like a clear I did it or I didn't. But the embracing the slutty part of my um, of who I am, I think is an ongoing thing. So that might be harder um, to describe. I would guess it would be like having done those things on the list, and still feeling like I'm being authentic and genuine to myself.
Yep, beautifully said. Now, thinking about these intentions, what
Mhm.
is the one word that would best describe your erotic theme for next year and why?
Mm, good question. Um, the theme. I think it would just be exploration,
Mm-hmm.
because there is so much out there that I've yet to experience and try and risk and expose myself to. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot to explore still.
Yep, there always is. Well, I'd like to thank you for being part of the very first edition of the Erotic Realm Kink and Erotic Intentions New Year special. And I'm really looking forward to having you back at the end of the year to see how you've gone with these goals.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you again. I have another Kinkster here ready to set their New Year's intentions with us. Can you please begin by telling us your name and age?
Hi, yes, you can call me Violet Bliss. I am 36 years old.
Okay, and now we'd like to hear a little bit about your gender and your sexuality and kinky self.
Yeah, so I identify as a sensualist, and I'm pretty new to this lifestyle. I also identify as a pansexual, so I am more after really how the person makes me feel. And yeah,
And
did I
what
cover everything? Sorry.
your gender as well?
Oh, yes. So I'm a women identifying individual.
hmm
And yeah.
And you're pretty new to the lifestyle, so do you have an idea of what kinky labels apply to you at this stage, or are you more exploring and evolving currently?
Yeah, so I would like to put myself in the label of like sensualist.
hmm
And I'm just like trying to pull, okay, like sensualist, pleasure switch, and kitten.
Okay, cool. So now let's jump into your kinky and erotic intentions for 2026. What are
Mhm.
you wanting to explore next year and why?
One thing that I would really love to learn more about is red flags. It's something that I learned the hard way. And I feel like I'm a kind of like a say yes to everything kind of person. And I have learned recently that that in itself could be a red flag. So I would really like to be more intentional as I dive deeper into this lifestyle and as I meet play partners or just like trying to engage with like other people. I would really love to kind of like really learn what those red flags look like how other people define it, and for me, like what are my own red flags?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's all about boundaries for yourself and for other people.
It is
Mm-hmm.
more about boundaries, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So what part of yourself do you want to meet through this desire? What aspects of yourself are you hoping to explore?
Really all about like my own pleasure.
Mm.
I've always been a people pleaser. I kind of like, because in my vanilla life, I was also a communications specialist, and I kind of like applied it to everybody, but there's no one size fits all, I realize. So, and like, yeah, like at the end of the day, I don't know where my G spot is. I don't know what like other things that gives me pleasure aside from, being with a partner. Um, and even all those like other senses or like impact play, like I have no clue because I've never explored with my previous partners. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, really a journey to like my own personal pleasure.
I love that. So, what challenges or fears do you feel might come up for you next year while you're exploring these desires? What might get in the way?
Um, I am actually anticipating that my recent relationship might get in the way,
Mm.
only because I keep on like trying to go back to it and like blame all of the missed opportunities. And although like I like even if it's still November, I feel like New Year is about to start, and I would love to be more intentional with how I meet other people and not try to compare those other people with my recent um, failed relationship, if put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, but I would love to consider myself as an open-minded person. I am all about communications, and also recently I've learned that communications really isn't the only key thing to a relationship, but comprehension is. So I would like to
Mm.
explore that concept, like as I meet other people, and see like, oh my gosh, yes, this actually makes a lot of sense.
Beautifully said. I love that focus on comprehension and not just communication. That's really important. Thanks for sharing that.
Exactly.
So let's say that we're chatting again at the end of next year and you're telling me that you've fulfilled your goals. How will you
Mhm.
know that you've fulfilled them? What will that look like?
I would say like for me, my success key metric is really having explored like maybe like I have like right now I have three titles. Like I want to be a sensualist, a pleasure switch, and a kitten. But like at the end of like the year, I would really just love to keep one of them. And with that, like say out of all the experiences I've had, I can tell that like what really gives me the most pleasure is like 70% say um, pleasure switch, or 70% sensualist, or 70% being a kitten.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And I'm
Okay.
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. It sounds like there's a lot of exciting things to look forward to, a lot of pleasure, a lot of learning.
Yes.
So, if you could name your 2026 erotic theme in one word, what would that word be and why?
Blissful.
I love how quickly you arrived at that. So, why
Yeah.
blissful?
Um, Blissful because that word in itself, I already gravitated towards it.
Hmm.
Like it makes me feel all the feels. So I'm really hopeful that also translates into like the goals I've set for myself um for the year.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being part of the very first edition of the Erotic Realm Kink and Erotic Intentions New Year special. I really look forward to having you back on the podcast at the end of the year to see what's happened for you. And yeah, it sounds like there's a lot to look forward to. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Erotic Realm. If this episode stirred something in you, please take a moment to follow the show, leave a rating, or write a review on wherever you're listening. It helps more people find the show and brings visibility to this deeper conversation about eroticism and self-understanding. I'd also like to invite you to dive deeper into the psychology of desire, including my writing, research, and upcoming courses over at psychologyofdesire.com. And if you want the full experience, join thousands of curious minds on my Substack at psychologyofdesire.substack.com. This is where I release the Psychology of Desire case files, behind-the-scenes thoughts, and intimate reflections every week, plus more. Until next time, stay curious, stay embodied, and keep exploring. Also, as always, stay perverted.